Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And it's been a while since I've done one of these fuller reviews, and I just want to quickly say thank you for supporting the 3 minute review concept. I think in a way it helps me bring figures to you in a faster, more timely manner without taking up a lot of your time. I'm able to explore the Blokees characters a little more individually and show you the build that even though it is time lapsed, the build is part of the magic of Blokees. But what we're doing today is I'm going to give you like a general overview summary of the Galaxy version Volume 4 set. Fractured Space and Time. Now, like as I just mentioned, I did do shorter reviews of each figure, but now I'm going to maybe take a little pause and go into some more details. Now, I did get this set off of Amazon.com, and Amazon is now one of the retailers for Blokees kits. Just make sure that when you're searching, first of all, it's coming up as Blokees because Amazon wants to autocorrect to block us with a U. And also make sure it's shipped and sold by Blokees or by Amazon. There is another retailer named Highplay that specializes in selling Japanese or Asian market import items, and sometimes it's very helpful, but they do charge an extra amount because they are getting them as an import. So for example, if you buy the volume 4 from them, if it's available from them, there's a good chance you would get the Asian market version instead of getting the English market version, which has the instructions in English and the text on the box in English. But, we've looked at these before. They're not hard to do. Now, Volume 4 was very interesting to me because it was a very Decepticon-heavy wave. And taking a look right here, this is all the Autobots. And if you count Snarl as one entity, there's only 3 characters here. There's 4 kits, but 3 characters. So that's kind of interesting. It is what it is. But start off, let's take a look at Snarl. Now, I'm not going in the order of the packaging that, I wouldn't even remember. But the dinosaur, I have to say I am really impressed how Blokees knows its audience. And that when it comes to the Dinobots, and as we're starting to see with the Insecticons, that, yeah, we would be interested in having the robot and dinosaur mode. So Snarl here, the Stegosaurus, very nice. A lot of shared parts between the Stegosaurus build and the robot build. Nice bit amount of articulation. There is a port there in the mouth to for a blast effect. If you have that, I think the variant Grimlock, that would work. And then taking a closer look at the robot mode here, very nice. They're all roughly the same size. I will say Ultra Magnus and Tarn are a little bit bigger, but like with Snarl here, because of how it's put together, you get the sense that this is a bigger kit when realistically it's roughly the same as, say, Smokescreen. Although I think it is a little bit taller. But nice build, great detailing. I think one thing that doesn't get enough of mention here is the tampo printing they do. Obviously, they know that the average Transformer consumer is not really a model guy. They're not doing Gundam. So the fact that, everything is color separated, tampoed, it's as little work as possible. And as I'm sure some of you know, as time has gone on, the build of these has become even simpler. But I do appreciate it. They've done a shining Grimlock. Maybe we'll get like the rest of the Dinobots, the robot mode at least, as shining, but who knows? So putting that off to the side. And then, of course, one of my favorites from the wave, Smokescreen here, just because I love the shade of blue. Smokescreen has always been, I would say, out of the car brothers of sorts, one of the better known, just because he did get the standalone episodes in season 1 and just looks different enough that to stand out, and really just impressed. Now, I will freely admit that by the time we got to volume 4 here, and with the improvements they've made to the kits, yeah, the build felt a little dated, but to be honest with you, this is the build which is the same as Prowlin's Blue Streak, is exactly what I would want. And to be honest, if they ever do like a Diaclone colored blue streak, I'd be okay with that. But there you go. Nice on the back. Now, really, one of the main standouts of this wave, and a figure that, along with Tarn, introduced some new building designs, is Ultra Magnus. Now, I'm quite happy to see Ultra Magnus here. I'm quite happy to see that they're not making us wait until uh, 2026 for an 86 movie wave, and I guarantee you they'll do that. But what I mean in terms of different build is, yes, this is a larger figure. The way the legs come together, exactly the same. Parts here on the front, additional stuff. The torso is a completely different build, and I'm trying to figure out how I can show this. Basically, what you have here is, instead of using the independent joints for the shoulders, that's actually built in and attached to the torso. We're going to see that again on Tarn. And I think we've actually seen that going forward on other figures. That will allow for a larger torso and a wider torso, which Ultra Magnus is. And I do even have to appreciate they did go far enough as to replicate the original Ultra Magnus's classic looking blaster, which, by the way, do anybody else remember that you hold it this way? That was for the smaller Optimus Prime robot. But other than that, just the way that they worked in the shoulder launchers. If you go back and watch the video of Ultra Magnus when I built them, I actually almost screwed up there. Inside here is a matrix chamber, and if you actually take off this front piece, you can actually even see that there's like a molded in matrix. I would really hope that we do get a shining version, and it does illuminate maybe that chest and matrix area. But yeah, again, very quickly, in terms of articulation, all of these have the same points of articulation. Ball joints at the shoulders, hips, 90-degree bend at the knee and elbow, ball jointed head, waist swivel. These are actually, I've said it before, these are the best non-transforming Transformer figures we've gotten, bar none. Blokees cracked the code and is delivering to the fans what we've been wanting from this style of play pattern. So we'll pause and we'll bring in the Decepticons. I did say this was a Decepticon heavy wave. Here we go. There's 5 of them. Right off the bat, very happy to see that Blokees did complete the Constructicons. We've got Hook and Scrapper here. I would say, actually, in terms of transforming robots, those are like 2 of my favorites from the Unite Warrior set. Now, what's going to happen in Studio Series 86? I don't know. But just look at the molded in tampographed detailing here on the figures. Looking at Scrapper here, just forget the chest. Look at the legs and how they did it. That's all printed on, and then all you do is just add some wheels on the side, because it's the same basic leg build. And then you have the shoulders here. The hook, the bucket here is articulated. For robot mode, that's where it's supposed to go. But I'm just really impressed by what they did and how they did it. It's just you can tell, like, they do love, and I think this explains some of the assortments. They love these characters, and I think it shows. Really nice. Got the head right. Just really cool. And then, of course, Hook here. Hook, I would say, is one of the more involved figures, just because of all the detailing from the vehicle mode. And look at it. Again, look at the legs. That's tampo printed, tampographed, and sculpted in. And then you have the special shoulder pads with the wheels come around the back here. Here's the Hook. If you want to, you can swing it around like that. Just putting that effort in is just, it just boggles, really, just the effort that they're willing to do. And keep in mind, these should be retailing for about $5 each. So for $5, you're getting a very simple model kit. I mean, even something like the entry grade Gundam kits, which technically are on, like in terms of the build, are really the same way. They're a little bit more than that. Um, I do appreciate the blasters. I mean, yeah, I mean, for both Scrapper and Hook, it's the same. But I mean, you really didn't notice their handguns and stuff. But yeah, really nice, really cool. And now we start getting into some of the more. Uh, I'm not going to say boy, like this is Nemesis Prime, and what's first of all, what's really cool is they could have given us like a black convoy Scourge type of design. But then which they kind of did, but then what they went ahead and did on top of that is if you notice these wrist blasters here, this comes from the Power of the Prime's Nemesis Prime. I mean, that's a cut, and they've been doing that, like reaching out, and it works. It just works. I mean, yes, this is the Optimus Prime build in black and teal. Nothing special, nothing new. Um, but I mean, it works. Oh, and the sword. Let me just quickly mention this isn't the Black Convoy Scourge sword. Again, this is the Scourge from the Nemesis Prime, the one that doesn't transform. Just like those great little details. I mean, it just, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, it's a repaint, but they do throw stuff in. It's like again a passion for it. Now we're gonna quickly go right to Tarn. Tarn again, just out of left field, comic character. If you don't read the comics like I do, not all, probably not going to know it. You'll probably know it better from the Cyberverse cartoon because these were apparently some sort used as drones. But there's actually there is some modular play to this because this cannon here can peg into the back. It is like a double fusion cannon. Tarn is actually supposed to be like Megatron's biggest fan, and and at least I think in the comics when Megatron isn't Megatron-y enough anymore, Tarn actually goes after him, and I think Megatron like just lays him out. But here we talked about it, the new sculpting chest piece here, where the ball joint for the arm is built into the chest and not that separate piece. You do have the new shoulder pads here with the treads. And by the way, all this new work here, you still get the same range of movement. So it's like they really knew how to design it. Just like I mean, yeah, am I the biggest fan of Tarn? No, but I really enjoyed building this, and the end result is kind of cool. So there's that. And really, to finish off our look at the Decepticons was, of course, the first one from this set, the first kit, I should say, from the set that I built, and that's Shockwave. And of course, if you don't remember, you can obviously tell now, I got lucky again, and I got the variant. And oh boy, this is cool. This is, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact the paint was coming off of my hands, the Soundwave variant would be my favorite. But this is great. The metallic purple, just popping the silver, the metallic pink on the hands, the translucent gun. You do actually get regular a metallic. Do you get a metallic blaster? I don't remember, but I know you get normal sets of hands and stuff, all done in that metallic finish. But yeah, I mean, when they do these variants, they put the effort in. And I mean, yeah, it's Shockwave. There's not a lot there, but rubber hose too. I mean, this is just again $5. Even if you get the regular version, you're still getting a rubber hose, and you'll get opaque parts. But just think for a second. For $5, you're getting a rubber hose. I mean, I don't think let's say a deluxe version of Shockwave. Actually, I forget that core class. They've done like a core class Shockwave. Did not come with a hose, and that was more than $5. But just fantastic. I mean, I'm very glad. I'm very lucky to have this. And of course, unfortunately, now that Blokees' popularity is really skyrocketing on the secondary market, people are starting to value price the variants. So it's becoming harder to trade for them. or even pick them up if you want them. So there is something like that. There is some that to keep in mind. But that's about it. How about we pause and I'll give you my final thoughts. Like I said at the start of the review, this was a Decepticon heavy wave, but definitely this was another banger of a wave. Each figure I enjoyed building, posing around, having some fun with. They all look really cool. Um, Obviously, in terms of favorites, it's got to be that variant Shockwave, just because that metallic purple paint just pops. And then right after that, I would even say would be Ultra Magnus, would be my second favorite because it just looks so good. And keep in mind that when I built and was fooling around with Ultra Magnus, I had resigned myself to the fact that that was going to be my only version of a G1 style Ultra Magnus I'd be able to play with, because I was keeping my Studio Series 86 Magnus sealed because it was shot up in value. But now that we've had the announcement of the reissue, that's going to open things up a bit. But yeah, definitely great set, great to have. I don't know if it's still available on Amazon. You might have to look for it. I mean, Amazon search function isn't the best. But another thing to keep in mind is there is the Blokees store. They do have a U.S. storefront. It's Blokees.com, I think, or Blokees USA. Try Google. That'll help you find it. But you can order directly from them. Great prices. Walmart was the original distributor and retail partner. They actually had these in stores, but they weren't selling the cases. They were only selling volume 1 and 2, and I've kind of been hearing through the grapevine that now that they've sold through them, they don't plan on replenishing the stock. And online, I mean, they're selling the individual boxes, and some third-party sellers are selling the cases. But in terms of what Walmart has, it's the classic class version, and the action class Optimus Prime. So, very much looking forward to what's coming next. I think I'm going to try to get my hands on one of the Shining volumes. I believe Volume 2 is available on Amazon, so I might pick that up. Um, I haven't watched Transformers 1 yet. Yes, I know, sacrilege. So I'm not that eager to jump into Volume 5, which was a Transformers 1 theme. And I know that Volume 6 is already showing up for some people, so there's that. And really, with like the Transformers 1, I mean, you get like an Orion Pax, an Optimus Prime, but the Optimus Prime we already looked at, that was the classic class version, that's really blows them a lot out of the water. But there is some stepped improvements to the build that are not that that are carried forward into Volume 6. So there is that. So just to be able to have that continuous flow and then the enhancement of the build process. But definitely, I mean, if I haven't said it before, highly recommended. Yeah, you can buy some of the individual kits, but remember, when it comes to this blind box stuff, as soon as you just buy one box, you're already putting yourself behind an 8 ball in terms of being able to get the figure you want. I do recommend just buying the cases to ensure you get the figures you want, and then you can just sell off or trade for the rest. That's how it works. I mean, at least as of now, like I said, people are getting hip to Blockies, and I'm starting to see a value pricing to them where certain characters are being sold for more than others, which really isn't cool or fun, but what are you going to do? But that's about it for the review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. I always say I appreciate the views, but the likes, comments, and subscriptions help to communicate to YouTube through the algorithm that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. I also have a Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. That's basically because I don't offer any of the additional thrills, special tiers, rewards, gifts. It's just your way to give me a little bit extra to keep things going here and keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. And I really do appreciate your support. But as I always say, I know that $1 a month It might not sound like much, but it's like 12 bucks a year, and I know sometimes that might be a bit much. Watching the videos, the 3 minute reviews, these fuller reviews really does help, and I appreciate. Patreon is just a cherry on top of that already generous sundae that is YouTube. So that's about it. Once again, this is your old pal Chuck for the Galaxy version, Volume 4 of Blokees. We will see you next time.